Pike County Fiscal Court's in session. Madam Clerk, have a roll call.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Master Anderson. Master Johnson. Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dotson.
Here.
Master Harris.
Here. We'll now have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a motion. Do we have a second? Master Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dotson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Next we have, and if you notice, you have three judges sitting up here with you, Governor Patton and our friend Bill Deskins. But we're here for a special occasion today, and it is special. It's special to all of us. When a person gives his service of years to the people of Pike County, they should be recognized for it. And I know that Bill Deskins said to me, and I certainly appreciate it, it was like it'd been probably more than a year ago. Said, Judge, you're a hard worker. You get a lot done. He said, I know we've had our differences, but and politics is tough. People, it's tough when you get in politics and you have you have political consultants involved and all, and it is tough. But he said, all I ever wanted is the office. And that means how much he cared for this office, and I thought about that. He really cared for public service. And I want to say this for both of these up here today. Both these fellows are gentlemen. We've had our political differences, but 99% of the time, when we approached each other, we showed respect. Both of these fellows have respected me. We was always, don't matter what was going on around us, we always shook hands, and we always was cordial with each other. And I always appreciated that because I knew that how dedicated that Bill Deskins was to public service, and it's certainly an honor for me to have this opportunity to sit up here with Bill Deskins and to have a former governor and former judge, Paul Patton, up here with us today. But it's more important to have this family here. This family contributed a lot to this county. I think, Bill, you had a great grandfather, Andrew Jackson Deskins, who was judge of this county. But see, I knew your father. I knew your mother. Your sister worked for me. Your brother-in-law worked for me. And what great employees. I see Jack back here. I went to school, played basketball with Jack. Paul Deskins, see Gerald back there, and we know that what a fighter he is. And we know that Paul Deskins, what he's meant to this community and what he's been involved in. And then you look at the family. Look at David, the years that he gave to public service. And look at Bill's daughter, what she has done with her life and social work and other things. And also to say that what this family has contributed, what they have contributed has been, is certainly to be appreciated by the people of this county. So, Judge Hayes, I want you to read a letter, I think, from the Governor of the Commonwealth, and then Governor Patton will think is on your agenda next.
This is a letter from the Office of the Governor, Stephen L. Brashear, dated December the 17th, 2012, and addressed to the Honorable William Deskins. Dear Bill, as Governor of the Commonwealth, I thank you for many years of dedication and commitment to the residents of Pike County. Public service is a family tradition begun by your great-great-grandfather, Andrew Jackson Deskins, who served as county judge from 1882 to 1885. It is one which you have maintained as demonstrated by your 2 terms as Pike County Sheriff from 1974 to 1977 and from 1982 to 1985, to your service as Pike County Judge Executive from 2003 to 2007. Your work with the United Mine Workers while at Harmon Coal Company and with the AFL-CIO throughout 27 years is commendable. I applaud your success in balancing the budget while Judge Executive and your role in building the current Hall of Justice. As your friends, colleagues, and family gather to commemorate your accomplishments, you certainly have much to celebrate and of which to be proud. Congratulations and best wishes on this special occasion. Sincerely, Stephen L. Brashear. The original of that letter, Judge Deskins, has been sent to your home address here in Pikeville. Next, in this ceremony honoring Judge Deskins will be a former Pike County judge who sits to my right, really needs no introduction here in his home, and we are so proud to have him here and so proud of what he accomplished in 2 terms, I believe, as county judge executive and then as governor of the Commonwealth. He was an exemplary leader and continues in that role as president of UPike. I almost said Pikeville College, but it's UPike. He's made that change. So at this time, Governor and President of UPike, Paul Patton.
Thank you, John Doug, and I'm certainly honored to be here this morning on what I think is a very appropriate and important occasion. And I want to commend Judge Rutherford and the Fiscal Court for bringing to our attention the service that Bill Deskins and his family, I would say, have had to this county over the years. Pike County's a unique county. Pike County is a progressive county, and it has been due in large part to the many, many leaders like Judge Rutherford and John Doug and Herbie, and you can just look around at all the people that have had our differences, as Judge said, but in the end, we were all working for the same thing. And certainly Bill Deskins is among the leaders in that effort. And I'm very proud to be here and acknowledge my appreciation for what he's done for the county and for his personal friendship. Bill and I go back a long way, and he came into the office of sheriff as his 2nd term in 1982 when I assumed my 1st term as county judge. And I was pretty green, Judge. I can tell you a lot of stories about the way Hack had to straighten me out when I got a little bit raw and a little bit testy. And Bill, too, more experienced in what was needed here in the courthouse and wasn't embarrassed to come in and sit down and talk and maybe just gently hint that maybe I could ease up just a little bit here and there. And we had a lot of good experiences together. And Bill, I got to tell this one, I think you'll remember it. We had a jailer, Coon Stratton, good fella. Coon had been a big basketball star in the county and was a real likable fella. But he had a little problem that he might take a nip or two every once in a while and got a little bit out of control. Well, this happened one day, and Coon fired everybody in the jail and was running around waving a pistol about what he's going to do. And Bill and I went over and finally talked him down and got that pistol away from him was the the most important thing. And then the sheriff said he was going to have to arrest the jailer. And so we loaded the jailer into a car, and Bill didn't arrest him. We took him to the Veterans Hospital in Lexington, and Coon stayed down there, and he's told me, and I'm saying he's told you, we saved his life. We saved his life, and he continued to serve as jailer, and his wife served for jailer after he did, and again with public service to the people of Pike County. But that was just one of the harrowing experiences that Bill and I had together. Now, that's not the only false arrest that he ever or fake arrest that he's ever done. One time in his first term, now Bill, you remember this too. We were up in Long Fork. It was a strike situation, and there was a picket line up there, and I was in the distinct minority on that, and it was getting a little testy. And Bill and his people was up there just trying to make sure everything stayed calm. And he walked over to me and he said, "Paul, you need to get in the car there." And so I got in the car, and they thought he had arrested me, but he took me down to Virgie and said, "Now, let's just keep this thing calm and don't do anything." And that's the way Bill was. Let's try to get along. Let's try to give and take and end up doing what's right. So, Bill, you have every right to be proud of your service to this county. You've been personally successful. You've been successful in business. You've been successful in public service, and with a life like that, you've got every right to be proud, and I'm proud to call you my friend.
Judge, you were mentioning the outstanding members of this family and those who had dedicated themselves to public service. There's so many in the Deskins family. I think you omitted one that I see in this courtroom, and that is the Honorable Reed Anderson, who was is a former Pike Circuit judge, a brother-in-law of Bill. And so we're glad to have you out here, Reed. Practiced law for Reed, and he helped me cut my teeth in the law about 40 years ago, and I really appreciate that man. So, and he has some kind of close relationship to one of our magistrates here on this court. I think that would be Mr. Jeff Anderson, and so Jeff ties to Bill Deskins also. So, anyway, that's a family with a long history of service to the people. At this time, I'm going to ask Herbie Deskins, a fellow who this court honored some time ago, a long time public servant, given his life to public service, an attorney in this town. He began his career as the county attorney and served in the administration of Judge Rutherford. I think the local press or someone dubbed them Batman and Robin, alluding to their teaming up together and to the youth that they had at that time. But Herbie, after he was served as county attorney, was elected to the state legislature and spent I don't know how many years there. I forget, Herbie, but he was there when I was in the Senate, and at least 20 years or more in the State House. And so I would, at this time, of course, I believe he claims some kinship somehow. Their last names both Deskins. I'll let him tell about that. At this time, I'd ask Herbie Deskins to come forward to speak, please.
I do appreciate, John Doug, your introduction, and Governor Patton, President Patton. I do appreciate your remarks. You took away what I was going to say, a lot of it, in that you learn. You have different steps of learning. You learn in grade school, you learn in high school, you learn in college, you learn in law school, and you just keep on learning. That's how you become mature and at least try to be a leader. And I remember I graduated from law school, and I thought I knew everything there was about everything. Just ask me a question, I was going to answer it. So a judge and I got elected as a county attorney and county judge. I was 25 and judge wasn't much older. And our combined age was younger than the county judge who was running. So we got into office, and I could spell everything except budget. And so we got in office. We found out that there wasn't enough money coming in to run the county, literally. The administration before us had not sought fund sources for over 4 years, and Pike County was what you might call broke. And so starting with that, those years, I learned another lesson, and that is that you got to make government work for the people. And Judge, I think that we both learned that lesson, and then the lesson I learned later on was I spent my time in the legislature, and I spent my time as county attorney, and came back, and Bill Deskins got elected county judge, and I went to him and said, Judge, I've got some experience, and if you see fit, I'll certainly come and work with you in administration, whatever I can do. And he allowed me to do that. Then I learned another lesson, and that is a lesson of having to do things that you really don't like to do. When we took over the budget, took over that year, the previous county judge had overestimated the last budget and had spent, pursuant to the law, 60% of it. Well, her overestimating that budget meant that we had just about 31, 32% to run the county government for 6 months. So something had to be done. And we had to sit down and make some really hard, tough decisions. And that was to cut off people, to reduce government. And I'll tell you, I've made a lot of hard decisions. I've voted on a lot of hard votes. I've stood up on a lot of hard issues. But those decisions were the toughest that I have ever participated in. And you knowing that you're cutting off somebody and in the middle of the winter, and it may be their source of income. And Bill literally made those decisions with tears in his eyes, saying, who is this? How long have they worked? And he made a promise. He said, when we cut these people off, we're going to get government working again, and we're going to call them back. And the man was good to his word. Over those 4 years, we offered those opportunity for those people to come back to work on a seniority basis. And I was always admired, Judge, for that. We could have been a lot of partisanship then because jobs were hard to come. But Bill made the hard decisions, and then he made the right decisions after that. But I'm speaking today not only as an office holder with Bill, but also as a next-door neighbor. Just to tell you the type of person that he is. 1983, we had a flood, and it flooded my house, and it didn't flood Bill's. And at that time, I had 3 children. I've still got 3, but one was 13, one was 11, and one was 9, I guess. And Bill Deskins and his wife walked over to my house after about a week and said, come live with us. And we did. We stayed there about a month. Never been treated better in my life. And I'll always remember that. Bill Deskins, as it says in the good book, he opened up his house to somebody that was in need. And I'll always remember that. But as Governor Patton said, I was privileged, or not said, talking about what he said that he took away from me. I've been privileged for 23 years to represent people in the House of Representatives. And during that time, you get to know people from all over the county. And Judge, Governor, you've probably been to all 120 counties. I've been to almost all of them. And I can tell you that there's no finer group of people in Kentucky anywhere than here in Pike County. And if a job can be done, Pike County can do it. Now just look, we have a former governor. We have one of the longest serving county judges. We have a gentleman here who has made a success in his whole life, and that's Bill Deskins. We have a magistrate over here who's gotten to the head of the Magistrates Association in Kentucky, and that's no easy thing to do. We have a former senator here, John Doug Hayes, who's come back to work for us. So you just look around and look at the people. Pike County produces good leaders. And the reason why is because we work together. And I think Bill will have a few remarks later on to show how we do work together. It's been a privilege, Bill, to have worked with you. You taught me things that I needed to learn, and that's how to make real hard decisions and live with them. You really taught me that lesson, and I appreciate it, and appreciate this time and opportunity to speak to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Herbie. And with that, I want to ask Judge Deskins, my friend Bill, if you would like to make a few remarks. We would call upon you to do so at this time.
Thank you, John Doug. Thank you all, everybody, for here. Judge Rutherford, members of the Fiscal Court, and friends. This has been quite a day. If Congress could get together like we have today, we certainly wouldn't go off the cliff.
Isn't that the truth?
Today we have put most of all old wars behind, and everyone is looking forward to a better Pike County. I certainly am. The Deskins family has been involved in Pike County politics for a very long time. My great-great-grandfather, Andrew Jackson Deskins, was county judge from 1883 through 1886, and during his administration, this courthouse was financed and construction began. My father, Jack Deskins, ran for county judge in 1948 and narrowly lost, and then ran very close 2 terms for sheriff. A relative, Fontok Deskins, was a representative from the 93rd District back in the early 70s. Another relative, Tilden Deskins, was a superintendent of Pike County Schools during the 70s. My son, David Deskins, served as Pike County Circuit Court clerk for 20 years. My cousin, Herbie Deskins, served as county attorney, state representative, and a special attendant during my executive service. I was elected sheriff in 1973 and served through 1977. I ran for a second term as sheriff and was elected in 1981 and served through 1985. I left politics for a while and then ran for Pike County Judge Executive in 2002 and served through 2006. It was a great job to do, but it was a tough job. They had spent a lot of our budget, and we had to go over the budget and bounce it, and then go to work with what we had left. My mother asked me when I was in the 7th grade, "What are you going to do when you grow up?" I said, "Mother, I don't know." She said, "Whatever you decide to do, you be the best at it." And I've tried to do that. In closing, it has been one of the highest honors of my life to serve the people of Pike County and their sheriff and judge. I believe that the best people in the state of Kentucky are right here in this county. Great leaders have come from this county, and I am proud that my family has been a part of the building of the Pike County that we now live in. I thank you all very much.
Thank you, Bill. And boys, I was sitting listening to you and the other speakers, and everybody's been so great. You know, as a Baptist preacher, it warms my heart to see people express love to one another who have had differences in the past, and these have been political differences. But as Judge Rutherford alluded to, the important thing is, you know, you put things behind you and you move on down the road. I see Judge Darrell Mullins has come in and sitting over there by your beautiful wife, Bill, and we welcome you, Darrell, and I know how much you respect Judge Deskins. And so with that, Judge Rutherford, with your permission, may I read a resolution of the court at this time?
Right ahead.
Thank you. This is a resolution of the Pike County Fiscal Court recognizing William M. Bill Deskins for his services to Pike County. Whereas William M. Bill Deskins was born and raised in Pike County. An early Pike County family, the Deskinses have been politically active since his great-great-grandfather, Andrew Jackson Deskins, served as county judge from 1882 to 1885 and ordered the initial construction of what would become the Pike County Courthouse in 1883. And whereas Deskins worked for the Highway Department after graduating from Pikeville High School and then worked for 5 years for the Harmon Coal Company, where he was a member of the United Mine Workers of America, and whereas during a period of time spent in Baltimore, Deskins attended transmission school and then returned to Pike County in 1965. And whereas upon his return to Pike County, he started a transmission business before expanding that business into boats as well. In 1970, he sold his boat and transmission business and went into the business of mining, processing, and selling coal. And whereas he was elected sheriff of Pike County, serving his first term from 1974 to 1977, he was the first sheriff to wear a police uniform every day and had a close working relationship with the Kentucky State Police. And whereas as sheriff, Deskins was on the committee that started the Sheriff's Ranch in 1974 through 77 and left office because of term limits with a near-perfect audit. And whereas Deskins then focused on his very successful coal operations until again being elected sheriff from 1982 through 1985. During this term, Deskins pushed for legislation to allow sheriffs to succeed themselves, which was successful. And whereas following the second term, Deskins returned to his coal operation business until elected Pike County Judge Executive, serving from 2003 to 2007. His most memorable experiences were bringing the budget back into balance, expanding the jail and current Hall of Justice, working toward getting the new judicial building built, doing repairs to the county golf course after it was damaged by a flood, and bringing in a new business Peterbilt. Therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court of Pike County, Kentucky hereby recognizes and honors Judge and Sheriff William M. Bill Deskins for his service to the Pike County, both as a citizen and as a public official. Witness this our hands, this the 18th day of December in the year of our Lord, 2012, and executed by Jeff Anderson, District 1 Magistrate, Vernon Chick Johnson, District 2 Magistrate, Leo Murphy, District 3 Magistrate, Kenneth Robinson, District 4 Magistrate, Hillman Dotson Jr., District 5 Magistrate, Christian Harris, District 6 Magistrate, Wayne T. Rutherford, County Judge Executive, and Howard Keith Hall, County Attorney.
Judge, I'd be happy
I want to start with Magistrate Anderson, and then the other magistrates had something to say. Magistrate Anderson is Bill's nephew, so Magistrate Anderson.
Thank you, Judge. Uncle Bill, I would like to echo the comments that the previous speakers, the governor, Judge Rutherford, and Herbie Deskins made. I think it, as Herbie pointed out, we had some tough times, but I think we endured and we did what we had to do to make sure that things got taken care of, and I think we did it in a professional way. And the 4 years that I worked with you, I really admired what you did, and I looked up to you and appreciated the hard work that you put in for the taxpayers of this county. I would like to thank the family for coming out today. I don't know if we're going. I assume we're going to do a picture and be able to recognize them at a later time. But I'd like to thank all the elected officials, the past and present elected officials, and all the other people that are here today for coming out. Really appreciate you being here today in honor of Mr. Deskins. That's all I have.
Thank you, Master Anderson. Go right ahead, Hillman, and then we'll go to the other side after you all finish.
Judge, it's sort of like old times looking, seeing Bill sitting there and all the magistrates that he had working under him. You know, we had the privilege, all of us, of serving together, and I become a close friend of Bill. He become part of the family. And, you know, one thing that we got out of this election was our friendship and our close bond to each other's families. And Bill, you know, I appreciate you for everything you've done. And I'd have to say that while you were judge, as Herbie said, we had some tough choices to make. But we were able to work through them. And we accomplished a lot in the county. And, you know, I just want to say thank you, and thank you for your family that shared part of it with us. And hope you have many more years.
Magistrate Harris.
Judge, thank you, and I want to just say thanks to Judge Deskins. You know, we came on board here at the same time. You and I, and Magistrate Anderson, and Magistrate Murphy, and Magistrate Robinson all came at the same time, and it was a very difficult time to come into office. And I think we all learned together. We learned how the fiscal court operates and what had to be done to operate county government. And it was a learning experience, and we went, you know, full circle from starting our term, having the layoffs, to near the end of the term, breaking ground on, with your help, spearheading the expansion to the jail over there, the Hall of Justice building. And so you've been successful in business, but what makes that even better is that you've taken that and you've helped the people of Pike County with that. Your success in business, a lot of people would just take their money and go enjoy their life, but you always had a sense of service to the people of Pike County. And I think a lot of times in our younger people today, that we don't see that as much. And that's something that I think that we really need to get back to in this country, is seeing that everybody owes something. You know, we can't just be takers, we have to be givers. And I think, Bill, your life has shown that you are a giver and not just a taker. So I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your generosity, and your generosity with many things. And I know a lot about your private life. Your generosity with things and with people amazes me a lot of times. And I'm proud to call you my friend, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Magistrate Johnson.
Bill, I guess the first time I ever met you was back in the 60s when you first started your transmission shop up there. I was selling a few old cars in, and I sat there one day and watched you take that transmission apart. The first time I ever seen one took apart, and I didn't know they had that many guts in them. And so then, when I took officer, I guess I was only old magistrate on the court at that time. I believe I was the only one left over that following term, wasn't it? Huh? Okay, yeah, me and you was together. Yeah. So it's been a long time. And then, Bill, it was great. It was great to work with you and everything. And hope you're a lot of good, and you've been a pretty good man all your life. Thank you, Bishop.
Magistrate Murphy.
Judge Deskins, I just want to say how proud I am to be a friend to you. Like I said, all 6 of us magistrates served with you. 4 of us got elected at the same time you did, and I can still say the biggest decision we ever made was the first meeting we had, and that was to lay the people off and stuff. But we did have a commitment that we would call each and every one of them back and offer them their jobs and things. But that was the hardest decision we had to make, I believe. But we really worked together all those 4 years and got things accomplished. And your wife's family, I love all of them because they live in my district and been some of my biggest supporters, and her mother was my biggest supporter, and really miss her. But like I say, I'm proud to call you my friend.
Master Robinson.
I got to know Bill when they was mining up on Marbone. Him and Gerald and Jack would stop at the garage and get gas when they had a deep mines up there. And we got to know him. We became good friends with him and Lynn and Rose, and he's a good friend.
Thank you. Do I have a motion now in regard to the resolution?
I'll be glad to make that motion, Judge.
Motion by Master Anderson. Have a second, Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson? Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Judge, I did recognize Judge Mullins, my good friend, and Bill's good friend, a friend to a lot of people, as a matter of fact, who came in. I want to also recognize, for Bill's sake and the family's sake, that we do have some other public officials here. As I sit back, I see PVA, Lonnie Osborne is here, and I know Lonnie, Bill rearranged his schedule so that he could be here to honor you. I know he had maybe to be in Lexington today, but he changed that, and he's here because he wanted to be present. I also see our Pike County jailer, Rodney Scott, is back there, and we thank them for coming out to honor a person who certainly deserves the honor. At this time, we want to take just a few minutes to take some photographs. I think first we'd like to get maybe a family photograph, if that's all right with you, Judge, and then we'll do the...
How you want to do it? We want to get one with the court, and then we want to get one with the family and the court.
What we'll do is do the family first, so they can watch the rest of it, and then we'll do the court next, and then we'll do the public officials with Bill who are present. And the court is welcome to stand up here behind. I think that way, Judge, you go on down front, and we can all gather in here behind, and that way we can all be in the picture, I think. If you all will come up front here. Call it back to order, Judge.
Everybody be seated, and we'll proceed with the meeting so we can get to eat.
Yeah, the judge just said the quicker we come to order, the quicker we get to eat. So, at this, if I can have your attention, please. I think at this time, Bill wants to say another, or have a few more remarks, and Judge, Sheriff, our friend, Bill Deskins.
Thank you very much. I just want to tell Wayne that the war is over, and we're going to continue to work for the Pike County.
Amen.
Also, I was out in Houston, Texas. As you know, I've had a little cancer, and I was out there last Wednesday and had another MRI, and I'm here telling you that the doctor said everything looked great. And I'm so
Bill,
happy.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And as you know, I can't go anywhere until the good Lord sends me a ticket. Thank you all very much. I appreciate everybody.
Thank you, Bill, and God bless.
Before y'all take off now, this is the Fiscal Court's annual Christmas dinner, and boy, there's food stacked up all over this courthouse, and we certainly have plenty. And we want everybody to try to stay and be. Oh, there is one other thing we forgot to do, Bill. I'll let Bill's politicking. I can't bother.
Brandon, would you assist John Doug?
One thing we did forget to do, and I'll just come down front with the judge and read this. We about forgot to give you this big expensive award we bought. Let's get rolling.
We got a short agenda today, this being the holiday season. I have the recommendation and make the recommendation of and the motion on the Extension Board to reappoint Jackie Charles, who's the treasurer, Neil Hunt, works for Pikeville Medical Center and is president of the Bee Association, as member of the Pike County Extension Board. Are there any questions? If not, have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second and a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Next on the agenda is approval to execute a professional energy services agreement with Perfection Group Incorporated. Mr. County Attorney and Judge Hayes also.
Judge, as you are aware, this has been under discussion for some time now, and we did sit down with Perfection Group and go over the proposed contract almost line by line. Some changes have been made that we requested. There's still at least one more that I would like done. And I'm in a position to recommend that I am satisfied to the contract subject to some minor changes. But I think the key at this point, and I noticed that our bonding people are in the audience, is we need to know where the financing is coming from and that the financing is approved. So I don't know whether it would be appropriate now for our bond people to give us a presentation so we know where we stand or what. I think that probably would be the best next step.
Come around, please.
Thank you, Judge. I'm Michael George with Civic Finance Advisors, and I brought Lonnie Campbell with me from CAECO. And I guess, first off, I want to, I guess we can kind of briefly go through the actual financing plan. And then more importantly, I brought with me kind of a preliminary timeline so we can kind of walk through the timing process, which I think is the biggest part of this to date. And I'll just hand these out real quick. We've got, and we've been working with, I've been talking a little bit with Jonda on potentially refunding your 2005 bond issue as well, which is part of the jail facility behind us. So what we're actually looking at would be to do one general obligation bond issue in which we would refund your existing jail as well as fund the energy savings project. And I've broken this handout basically into two parts. The first part would be the pure savings analysis on the energy savings, which I believe you guys have seen, and that we have given this information to Perfection. And the second page is the jail refunding. And I'll just run through this real quickly. Basically, we would be looking at about a $1.3 million bond issue to fund the project. I'm showing this on both a 16-year and a 20-year financing. The 16-year financing would allow you all to achieve a net cash flow benefit through the energy savings project each year for 16 years. The annual difference between the debt service and the energy savings is it's almost the same. So basically, you're coming out a couple $1,000s ahead for 16 years, and then after the 16th year, the bonds are paid off, and you would get the full benefit of the energy savings going forward. I've also provided a 20-year plan of finance, which is basically gives you all some additional cushion. So if you look at the red column on the far right under 20-year financing, we could actually structure this over 20 years where the county would get about $20,000 to $25,000 a year in benefit through the energy savings. but it would take an additional 4 years to pay the debt off. So that's kind of the quick rundown on the numbers of the energy savings project. On the second page, like I mentioned, we would look at actually combining this into a potential refunding on the 2005 jail bonds. And on that second page, in the blue column, we've mapped out your existing bond payments. In the gray, we've mapped out your existing bond payments, and in the blue and the red, we've provided a couple different savings options on that refunding. And if you look, if we do a level savings approach, the county could save close to $775,000 by refunding these bonds through the maturity. We could also structure this, and this is option 2, as an upfront refunding deal, which would give the county approximately $500,000 of savings in the next 2 fiscal years. So if the county wanted to accelerate their savings on that refunding piece, they could do so. It would reduce their overall savings, but it would give them give you all a huge cash flow up front over the next 2 years. But that's, like I said, it's a quick rundown of the numbers. I guess before we get into the timing, I wanted to see if you all had any questions or concerns or comments on the potential refunding.
I have a question, Michael. This has changed since the last cash flow analysis was given. The other one had like 123 or 125,000 with 5,000 and something savings the first year. What's the change?
Is this on the energy savings?
Correct.
We've actually restructured this, and this is based on some of our conversations with Perfection on the actual timing. So some of the energy savings realized, as well as the rebates, may be pushed into the next fiscal year. So what we've done is we've basically restructured the bond issue to mirror those changes. So I think the overall estimated savings is pretty similar. I think it's just realized in different fiscal years because of the timing issue.
Hey, Michael,
in their conversations, you want to do both of them together, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
To get a better savings.
That is correct. It would make
not 2 separate issues, but one total.
Correct. You would actually save approximately $100,000 more, which is reflected in these numbers by including this issue into the bond issue. And this gets into the timing a little bit, but this project's over $500,000, and the Department of Local Government requires a full hearing process for any debt issuance over that amount. So
that can take 60 to 90 days,
yes, ma'am.
Depending. And with this being the holidays, we're probably looking at the 60 days at this point in time.
Yes, ma'am. I have and I apologize. I threw this together last night and I only have a couple copies, but I will leave a copy with you all of a timeline that we put together. It's kind of it's a best case scenario timeline as far as pushing this through. I think it is pretty realistic. And after the DLG process, we're assuming that we could sell bonds by the end of March and close that bond issue in April, mid to late April. I think we have April 17th as the preliminary closing date. So the earliest we could get the full funds of this project would be in mid-April.
They had also talked about doing a bridge of up to the $500,000. How long does that take?
Correct, and that's something I wanted to get into a little bit today. I know that you all want to get started. At least it sounds like you want to get started on the energy savings project. And like I said, anything over $500,000 has to go through DLG for approval. And as John has said, it's a 60 to 90-day process. But we can do a bridge loan for an amount under $500,000, any amount up to $500,000 that would not require DLG approval. And this bridge loan can be done relatively quickly.
I think we have to get approval from the state local finance officer, don't we?
Correct.
Right. We have to send an application. He has to approve it, and that's basically the only thing we have to do.
Correct. And you don't have to go through the full hearing process. So we're assuming if you all were on board with some type of bridge loan, and we can talk about the details here in a second, that we could get the financing in place for that as early as, about a month from now. We're looking at late January. The week of the 23rd and 24th would probably be the earliest we could get some type of bridge financing in place. And we could do this in a variety of ways. We could work with, I know Keiko's got a great bank leasing program that it's really flexible. So we could do like a 3 or 4 month bridge loan and then take that out with the bond issue. And the interest rate on the bridge loan, since it's going to be so short and it would be a GO-backed issue, would be relatively low. We're probably talking like 1.5%. And there would be no issuance cost on that. We wouldn't charge any issuance cost. So you're looking at a couple $1,000s would be the overall cost of the bridge loan.
Hey, Michael, I had a question. You mentioned about a $500,000 quick saving. Can you care to go back over those details?
He's saying Perfection Group is wanting money up front. And since we know it's going to take to at least March to close on the issue to, oh, okay.
Yeah, you mentioned an upfront $500,000 savings.
Right. If you look at on the handout, I've got 2 columns on the second page. The first one is option 1. It's level savings. And that basically assumes we come in and refund the bond and basically keep everything the same it is now, except you get a lower interest rate. And the result of that would be approximately $30,000 to $35,000 a year in interest rate savings. Another way that we could potentially structure the refunding would be to basically capture all of those savings in the first 2 fiscal years. So if you look under option 2, under this upfront model, we're actually reducing the county's debt burden on this issue to about $150,000 a year for the next 2 fiscal years. So the county would get $250,000 a year in interest rate savings.
Okay, I just want to be clear. You're recommending which option?
It's really what you all are more comfortable with. I mean, either way, the county's getting a lot of savings. I think whatever you all feel comfortable with and look at your budget going forward can make a decision based on that. And that decision doesn't have to come right away as far as where you want the savings. I mean, you can go through this process of refunding the bonds, and you won't have to make that decision until we sell bonds, which would be 3 months from now.
Okay. Madam Treasurer, would you get some feedback on that, and then you give him your recommendation after you talk to us?
Considering level savings saves us an additional $184,000, I would always recommend the greater savings, not the upfront.
And that's typically what we see as far as
refundings
go.
The court?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of what I was getting at. I wanted, I didn't.
John, I've got a question before we have a vote on it. Do you feel secure that we can pay this if we do this in our next budget?
Just have to wait and see.
That's not a very good answer.
Let me repeat again that we don't have any cost.
There's nothing that I can. There's no historical data for me to pull from here with the county to know exactly what our savings will be till we get into it.
I think
what I was talking about, when we're combining the Hall of Justice and this together, it's going to give us a pretty good savings.
Yes.
Starting out.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure when we get into our budget that we will be comfortable in making these payments. I know the savings are supposed to be there, and I respect Roland for.
I can guarantee you the addition to the jail expansion, but till we get into the historical data of the electric bills and the savings versus all the maintenance and electric, I don't have any historical data to go from. Just what's been presented. So hopefully that's where we end up, is there's money to cover that with money left over each year.
Mr. County Attorney and Judge Hayes, are both you satisfied that if there are any shortfall under the agreement with Perfection Group that this court will not be responsible?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with that, Judge. I guess going back to the Hillman's question, because I think I understand his question, and I want to make sure that not only Hillman, but the whole court and you are all understand. The refinancing, I guess it's the jail, or is it the Hall?
The expansion of the jail.
The expansion. That's probably a no-brainer, because you're basically reducing your interest rate. It looks like from 4.33 down to 2.2, I guess, or whatever it is. The part on the energy savings, It does not magically create money. The theory is that by making these changes up front, you will save enough in energies and maintenance and repair work to make the payment that you would have. But you're still going to have the same power bill every month that you've had now, and that's not to say that the judge and Rhonda and Jonda aren't going to have trouble balancing a budget come next July, because it does not create money. It's changing spending money from line A for electrical to help make this payment. So it does not create money, but I'm satisfied with the theory of the program and that they have guaranteed these savings, but I don't want it to come May or June and trying to balance the budget and the members of this court say, well, where's all those savings we're supposed to be getting? Because it does not create money.
No. One other thing we talked about in our meeting that I wanted to bring up that we said is this program, keep in mind, does not cover everything that can go wrong. There are still some items that we talked about that were older that may come up that we would have to have money for. That this is not everything. There were, I think, a couple items that were over in the Hall of Justice that could still go bad. So don't think, if we come to you and say, hey, we need money for something later, that this covers everything. The other thing I had a question about was, we talked about the bridge loan, that we could do up to $500,000. We talked about the cash flow, and my question to Perfection Group is, he says we won't close best case scenario until the middle of April. So are you guys satisfied to tell this court that if we do the bridge loan, that's enough cash flow for you to do this project until we close in the middle of April?
Come around, please.
Yes, to answer your question, the answer is yes, simply. We've given Roland a payment schedule. We would not issue our first invoice to the county until January 1st, which is for a 15% down payment. We've changed the contract terms to read 30 days after invoice, we're expecting payment. The whole idea is to meet the requirements of maintaining this program and getting it installed and implemented by July 1st, which is your next fiscal year. That's what we're trying to do. As long as we can get this thing signed today and we can move forward, we can begin our mobilization and implement this by securing our vendors, materials, components, equipment, whatnot, and get our internal processes started, especially through this, what I'll call a dead period during the holidays. This will help us meet that construction period of what we're looking at a full 6 months. Okay, it's going to take a while for materials to come in, to get our processes set up, and get our people in place and boots on the ground, so to speak, so that we can get this thing started and implement it and try to get it as complete as possible by June 30th. That's the intent.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
In the contract to begin with, but they're going to bill on January 1 for 15%, which is $201,000, and it's payable by January the 29th. Now
That's up to Michael George.
Well, that's part of the bridge loan, and it may be up to Mike, but we're the ones signing the contract, and you're the one that's going to have to be signing a check. And we got to make sure there's $201,000 that's going to be there.
That's why we're asking them, are they satisfied till we can get this money in place with these payments?
And Roland, I can speak a little bit on the timing of that. And the timeline I handed out assumes that, I know your all's regularly scheduled meetings are the first and third Tuesday, correct? Correct. So you all have, I guess you would technically have one scheduled for January 1st, which I assume is going to be moved to, you're all going to have a special called meeting?
The 3rd.
The 3rd? It's good. It's what we have on our, the guests, I guess, on our timeline. But if you all were to have the first reading on some type of ordinance for the bridge financing on the 3rd, and would have the passage and the second reading of it on your regularly scheduled meeting on the 15th, we could actually accept the bids that afternoon on the bridge financing and have usually 7 to 10 days to close that. So we feel very confident that the money can be in the bank by that following week, so the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, in that time frame.
Okay. Lonnie, with this, can that be paid directly to them without having to amend it into
Lonnie,
my budget?
come around.
No, you would have to be.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you would have
Because
to
on a
amend the
short
budget,
term, I
yes.
have to accept it and receipt it out.
Yes,
Whereas with the bigger issues, CAECO, I don't have to amend because
Right.
they take care of us paying the payments.
Right,
Okay.
but you would have to amend it.
So on the 3rd, I have to have an amendment. That would be on a Thursday. I should be able to get it in the paper on Saturday, which would get me to my court meeting on the 15th.
Right. And we can talk to DLG to make sure they know what's going on and get the process. I know them pretty good over there, so I'll work with them over there.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, Rhonda, to be safe, and Jonda, do we need to try to move this payment date from January 29th back to February the 15th? I mean, I think you're cutting it awful close myself, but you know, you're the one that's got to have you're the one that's going to put your name on the check when you write it.
If I don't have the money, I'm not signing the check.
I don't know, Matt. How does that work with you?
With perfection?
Yeah, if we move it to the 5th. I mean, I'm just worried about the timing of this thing.
I'm gonna defer to the president of our company. I think the answer is going to be yes, but I'm not going to speak for himself.
If he'll give you a signal, we'll move on.
Are we okay with that, Tony? We'll hope for the 29th. If we have to wait till the 15th, we're fine.
That answer your question partly?
Yes, Judge.
I had one for Mike. Mike, the interest rate savings, what we're currently paying on the Hall of Justice on the jail expansion is 4.53. Am I reading that correctly?
That is correct, and the estimated fixed rate on the bond issue would be 2.57, so it's almost a 2% reduction.
Okay.
And I guess one thing, I don't want to muddy the water, so to speak, but in terms of the energy savings project, the interest rate and the terms of your debt service would not be established until we sold bonds in March. So from the period, let's say from today through March, these debt service numbers on the energy savings are going to change based on what happens in the market. Typically in these types of scenarios, I mean, we monitor this stuff daily, so we know the impact that it's going to have. So that's something to consider going forward, that these numbers aren't fixed until we sell the bond issue. And part of the reason why I included this 20-year plan, I know that you all have been looking at the 16-year plan of finance, but part of the reason why I put the 20-year is to show you all that if something were to happen, if rates were to go up a little bit, we can, if the court approves, do a 17 or 18-year bond issue versus the 16-year, just to give you all some cushion and to make sure that those energy savings are actually going to be realized by the county. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't have to be determined until we sell bonds.
Why are we able to get a 2.2 rate on the 16-year financing, but only a 2.57 on the? Is that just a longer term?
It's just because of the longer term. If you look at the 16-year, it's 220. The 20-year is 240, and the bond issue, the refunding bond issue on the 05 is a 23-year deal, and it's a 2.57.
Okay, I understand.
Judge, after consultation with Deputy Judge Hayes, yourself, and the finance director and the treasurer, I am prepared to represent or recommend to the court that the court adopt the 16-year financing plan at the approximate rate of 2.2% and the option 1 level savings plan on page 2 of the handout, and would recommend that the court authorize the judge to enter into the contract for the professional energy services agreement subject to signing off by myself and Deputy Judge Hayes and the
Madam
treasurer.
Clerk, did you get that?
That would be my recommendation. Obviously, I can't make a motion. I'm not a member of the court.
I'll make the motion and ask for a second, please. Madam Clerk, if you have any problem, the county attorney will assist you in getting down the gist of the motion. Have a motion and have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Second.
I don't know if you got a second yet or not,
Oh,
Judge.
no,
I would, but I have to abstain on this because of my
I'll second the
involvement with
motion,
Kate.
and before I do second the motion, I just want to make sure that we have in the record that if something happens and we can't pay the 29th, that we have it in the official record that they did acknowledge the 15th would be acceptable.
I think that's wise.
Although hopefully that won't happen, but I just
I
want to
think
make
that's
sure.
wise.
I'll second your motion, Judge.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes, with reserves on some of the issues. I hope we can do it, and I think it is a good thing, but I kind of got my doubts about some things.
Okay.
Mr. Harris.
I abstain.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you all for being here today, and thank the Perfection Group. I know that we probably wore you down over the last month or two, but that's how we operate. We have to get to the bottom of it, and we have to come up and build, and we have to be convinced. And so today we move forward on this project, and I think it will be a good project. And thank you for what you've done on the finances. Thank you for bringing our attention in regard to the jail renovation project on those bonds also.
Thank you, Judge, and we'll go ahead and start the process with Randy at Rubin and Hayes, your bond attorneys, and try to get the documents for the ordinances over to you all as soon as possible for review.
And your contact will be Madam Treasurer.
What do you need from me before Christmas break? Anything?
We shouldn't need anything. We'll go ahead and start the process, and I'll refine this timeline, and we'll lay everything out, and I'll get back in touch with you.
Do I need to fill out the application for the short-term bridge with the $500,000, or will you do that?
I'll work with Lonnie, and we'll get that over to you as soon as possible.
Do we need authorization for the judge to sign any and all documents pertaining to the bridge loan at this point?
I'll go ahead and get that. Have a motion authorizing the judge to sign for the bridge loan.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Anderson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes. We don't have much left on the agenda, but we do have the treasurer's business. Madam Treasurer.
Judge, authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Have a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the previously approved transfers and interfund transfers for November 20th, 2012 and December 3rd, 2012.
To have a motion.
Motion.
Have a motion, Mr. Roberts, second, Mr. Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's November 2012 financial statement.
Have a motion. Have a second.
Second.
Have a second, Mr. Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson. Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Acknowledge authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated December 17th, 2012, and any other utility and telephone bills that are received before we run the checks.
Have a motion to have a second. Have a second, Mr. Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. Mr. Dodson.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Abstain.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize that as Blackberry Volunteer Fire Department presents invoices, we be allowed to disperse as requested up to $4,406 for project number A404 of coal severance.
Motion, Mr. Dodson. Have a second. Second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy. Master Robinson, Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize a check or checks to the following when the funds from NRCS are received. Blake and Associates Incorporated for appraisals, Ashley Jones Robinson, $1,200. Walker Appraisals, technical review, Jacqueline Goff, $1,200. Technical review, Wanda Jean Childers, $1,200. Technical review, Ashley Jones Robinson for $1,200 for a total of $3,600. Frank K. Null, PSC, closing documents on Jack and Anna Booton for $1,800. Closing documents, Brittany Michelle Adkins and Christopher Ron Adkins, $1,800 for a total of $3,600.
John, what is that
This
technical
is the Department
review?
of Agriculture, moving people out of the floodplain. It's pass-through money, Jeannie, and that's your project?
Appraisals.
That's buying the people out and following the federal
Once they do an
guidelines.
appraisal, then somebody has to go back and do the technical review of the appraisal. Then you do the closing documents.
Have a motion, have a second. Second, Master Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize a check to East Kentucky Association of Electricians Incorporated in the amount of $635 for continuing education classes for Damus, Cliff, Paul, and Alfred, and membership dues for those for 2013. Continuing education classes are $495, and the membership dues are $140 for a total of $635.
That's in the budget. Do you have a motion? Have a motion from Master Murphy, have a second from Master Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Motion.
Master
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy.
Yes.
Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize a check to Adkins Security Services. It's industrial security surveillance system for the airport. This is out of Magistrate Anderson's Pike County recreational money in the amount of $6,200.
Motion, Magistrate Anderson. Have a second.
Second.
Second, Master Harris. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Yes. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
Madam Treasurer, thank you. County Attorney, do you have anything else? Judge Hayes, personnel.
Judge, we have some personnel matters. We'll require a brief executive session. If you want to do that now or take magistrate's comments and then do it, it's up to you.
Let's do the magistrate's comments, so when we get back, we'll be ready to eat. Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, I just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. The employees of the county government, I'd like to thank all the commissioners and the personnel. I know oftentimes we've... Okay. I'll interrupt my comments, and I'll make a motion to approve the road work as well.
Magistrate Anderson makes a motion on the road work. Have second with Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call, Cole, and then we'll proceed.
Okay.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Yes. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Okay.
Magistrate Anderson.
I'll finish bragging on these people. I would like to thank all the employees. You know, oftentimes they don't get the credit they deserve, and nor do we recognize the hard work that they put in. But you know, our road crews, you know, your staff, all of our road crews, our road foremen, everybody in county government. It's what, you know, we all make each other look good, and I'd really like to thank you all for everything that you do. You know, we've had, as we've mentioned previously, we've all experienced tough times and good times, but I think in the end we've all served the people of this county, and that's what we're supposed to do. And I would like to thank each and every individual that works for the county, and wish them a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Magistrate Johnson.
Judge, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, and I'd like to see around Christmas there that John, Doug, and Frank, and Roland gets plenty to eat. And another thing, on the salt building I'm building up there, it's stalled right now, and I just want to know what the problem is. About the salt barn we're building up there at Salt Shed.
We're pouring some concrete for Chris over at the flood wall right now. And as soon as we get done with the concrete over there, we're coming right back up.
It's been about 30 days since you all worked anything up there, ain't it?
Do what, Chick?
It's been about 30 days since you all been up there doing anything, ain't it?
Yeah.
And that's the reason I'm pushing and even take the money out of my road count to get this done. And then here I can't get it built. That's what I'm a little peeved about.
All right. As soon as we get done over there, we'll come right back up there, okay?
I hope it is, but I had trouble this once before and never did get nothing done, so hope it don't happen again. It is hell's going to be played because I'm getting tired of starting something for somebody and go somewhere else and work. That ain't no good in my bit. It'd be like me go up there in my district working on the road up there and get up there and tear the dirt up right good. It go to another holler and start on another. You don't do business that way. When you start something, finish it, get it over with.
Chick, to help the matter and explain something, which is not an excuse, but they had to rent those forms, concrete forms, and we only had like 30 days to do it. So at the time, they rented them to build the walls for your salt thing. Then they rotated the forms over there because we was building that small building over there to put the Bobcat and sandbags for Chris. And that was one problem, but now I can't answer the rest of it.
Oh, they tell me the problem is right now, about 3 weeks ago or a month ago, it needs some blocks laid. They can't then have no block layer. Nobody lay blocks.
Chick, I'll see if I can, what they call bird dog that in the next few days for you.
What?
I'll try to bird dog that for you in the next few days.
Okay, because it's making a mess up there, you know.
I'll try to do that.
Snow start to come in here, and it's just going to make a mess.
Try to do that for you. You have anything
No,
else?
that's all I got.
Magistrate Murphy.
No, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and especially to all the county workers and things like that. And everybody have a good one.
Magistrate Robinson.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's.
Okay, to have a motion to go, let's see, we go into executive session.
You forgot me, Judge.
Wow, there is.
There I am.
1, 2. Hillman.
We got to talk about our road project on 194 and 632. We've got some of the state people here today, and I just hope that they are bringing some good tidings to tell us that they're going to get our money back and get our road started back over there at Phelps. You got anything with you, Joe, on that? Nothing?
I'm sure that if those fellows could make it happen, they would.
Judge, you know, we probably might need to get you to get them all together and go down and see the governor someday.
Might be a good idea.
I'm telling you, you know, we are really in desperate need of a road improvement from there over to Pike.
No doubt about it.
It's not getting better. It's getting worse. And, you know, the people shouldn't have to live under conditions that we're living under with the amount of money that they're mining and paying the coal severance. I wish there was some way they could use that money to fix their roads with instead of just distributing it out for other things. And, you know, like I say, I'll be mentioning that every court meeting, and I hope that you can get us something to where we can go down there and maybe get something going with our legislators.
Be glad to do that.
And we've got somebody here from Blackberry today with our senior citizen and community building. He's brought me an estimate on getting the community center over there exterminated. And Cliff, I guess you would probably be in charge of that. You'd probably have him do that, won't you, Judge?
I'd say so.
I guess they've got termites pretty bad over there.
Scheduled. If you get that, leave that with Jeannie, and we'll.
And they gave Eugene Gibbs an estimate of $1,500 if we do it by this year. But I told him it would probably not happen this year.
It won't happen this year. It'll be next year.
You know, they
leave that with Jeannie, and we'll take care of it.
Okay. And we've got some problems with a cemetery over there. I guess you've probably heard the thing that Cliff had built that somebody went up and broke the glass out of it. So we need to probably get that taken care of. You know, I guess that happens everywhere, and
Sure.
And maybe when we get our cameras up and get these people caught, I guess John Doug, it carries a pretty good sentence, don't it? For no, I was going to tell Chick I've got plenty of room over there in my salt bin. If you need any, just let them bring it over and we'll keep it in the dry for you till you get yours built.
Lord of mercy. I'd rather haul it by yours. Connecticut by yours. They have to haul it over Phelps over here.
But I won't use none of it. We'll guard it for you. We've got some we're keeping for Chris. Well, I just want to offer that to you if you need it.
Okay. Master Dotson.
And Judge, I guess that'll be all right. Now, I know you're in a hurry to eat and everything, but I'd like to have another half hour, but we'll take it up next week. Y'all have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Master Dotson. Master Harris.
Judge, I'll be short and just wish everybody happy holidays.
Thank you.
We need a motion to go into executive session. So pursuant to KRS 61-810, I make a motion to move into executive session to discuss specific personnel matters.
Have a motion second. Roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes,
Master
yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
First thing we have is an appointment to the airport board, and my recommendation to the city, and they've concurred. And this motion will be based upon the mayor, which understand from the city manager and the mayor that he's agreed to do that. And it's Brent Wagner, who is a pilot who has an airplane and stationed at the airport. And he's been flying out of the airport here for 20 years. He's a resident of Phelps, and that is my recommendation, and the recommendation of the county attorney. We brought it to the court for your all's concurrence. Have a motion and a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Yes. Master Robinson. Yes. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris. Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Let me further state that we thought we had another vacancy because Jack Sykes had informed us that he wanted to, because of his pending surgery and because he had talked with his doctors at Cleveland Clinic, that he thought his rehab period was going to be 6 months, so he was going to resign. But since he's back up there before his surgery and after consulting with his doctors, that his rehab period won't be that long. So I have a letter from him stating that he will not be resigning. He will still be a member of the airport board, and that is for your information only. Madam Clerk, proceed. Now, Judge Hayes, personnel.
Judge, while we were talking about Jack Sykes, I did get a message that he is undergoing surgery at this very moment. It's a lengthy surgery, and as I prayed earlier today, we certainly send out our prayers and our thoughts to Jack. There is an email address for those who are in the courtroom and those watching on Pike TV to send your good wishes for continued good health to Jack. It's been set up, and it's Jack. These are all small letters. Jack.Sykes.Summit, SUMMIT, at gmail.com. That's Jack.Sykes.Summit at gmail.com. And that's just for best wishes for good health. He still has his regular email. And as I say, he's having surgery as we speak. Judge, there's a number of personnel matters. I'll go over them very quickly. Before I do, I just want to wish everyone here Happy New Year and certainly a Merry Christmas. And certainly all our Pike County citizens who are seeing this on Pike TV, I want to join in with the court in wishing you all a Merry Christmas. First job is a packer truck driver, solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, a 3H pay rate. 2 bidders, both full-time, both qualified. The senior is John Reed, and that's our recommendation. Next, diesel mechanic, Ford Mountain Maintenance Garage, 5H pay rate. We recommend as the qualified employee, Ronald Smith. Next, we have a loader position, solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, 2H pay rate. We had 5 temporary workers bid, as is the policy of this court to allow that. And the senior temporary is Wesley Moore, and that is that individual is qualified and agreeable with the commissioner judge, and we recommend him. Secondly, finally we had another loader position, solid waste area number 3 at Robinson Creek, a 2H pay rate. The only full-time employee to bid on that was Ronnie Thacker, and he is qualified, and also Commissioner Mullins concurs with that, and we recommend Ronnie Thacker for that. Next, Judge, we need approval to hire Harold Dean Fraley as a temporary mower driver for road lot number 2 at a 3H pay rate effective December 12, 2012. He is temporarily replacing Steve Burke, who is off on sick leave. Next, we need approval to hire Darrell Mullins as a temporary animal control helper at a 2H pay rate at the animal shelter. That will be effective December 19th, 2012, and he is filling in a position which is vacated by the fact that we have a temporary director there. Next, Judge, we at the last court meeting, we hired an employee by the name of Gary Blake Owens. Unfortunately, had some problems, was unable to do the job after working 2 days, and so we need to terminate his employment. He worked the 6th and 7th. We recommend he be terminated on December the 8th.
That's my recommendation and my motion. Do I have a second? I have a second from Magistrate Murphy. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Judge, one other matter, it's not it's related to personnel, not exactly personnel, not the usual personnel business, and that is Christmas falls on Tuesday of this year. Our employees by code have off Christmas Eve and Christmas, 2 days. Then the following week, of course, we've got Monday is New Year's Eve, and Tuesday will be New Year's Day. Our code provides that our employees be off on New Year's Day. Now, Judge, if the previous policy of this court has been, and that no area of the county goes 2 straight weeks without garbage service. So if they're off, if the solid waste employees who pick up the solid waste door to door, if they're off Tuesday Christmas and Tuesday New Year's Day, that would mean the Tuesday routes would have to go 2 weeks during the holiday without pickup. So, Judge, it's the recommendation of the commissioner and the personnel that the necessary employees only of solid waste work on New Year's Day and be paid pursuant to code at a rate of double the wage for that day, and that's our recommendation, Judge.
You have a motion and you have a second.
Second.
Have a second, Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and I'm like the rest of the court up here. It's a privilege to serve the people of this county, and you heard that from not only officials here now, but the people who served us previously. And what a great county we're privileged to live in, where God, family, and love is district tradition. So I wish you all, and we want to have a blessing. And Bobby Mullins, would you come around to the podium over there and bless the food, please? And then we'll get ready to eat.
We bow our
Bob,
heads,
before you
please.
do that, let's have a moment of silence for all the children that of this tragedy in Connecticut. Please bow your head, please.
All right.
Mullins, proceed.
As we bow our heads, God, our gracious Heavenly Father, we're thankful, Lord, for this day and for the blessing of life. We're thankful, Father, for each and every member of this court and all of those that is present here today. Father, we're thankful for this season that we're about to enter into, to where we will remember the birth of Christ, the Savior of the world today. Now, Father, we thank you for the food that's been prepared. We pray that you will bless it, that it will be a nourishment for our bodies, and that it will give us strength, that we will be able to continue in our work for you. Father, we pray that you'll bless all the little children around the world, Lord. Father, we pray that you bless all the leaders. Bless everyone, Father, that does not even have. We pray that we can shed some light throughout this world. Father, we ask that you'll bless each hand that prepared this food, and we give you the thanks for it all, and we ask it in the name of Jesus, and amen.
Amen. The motion to adjourn. Have a motion, Magistrate Murphy. Have a second. Have a roll call vote. Second, Magistrate Johnson. Madam Clerk.
Magistrate Anderson, Magistrate Johnson, Magistrate Murphy, Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dotson, Magistrate Harris, Judge Ruth.